Okay, so we're running now. Thanks for doing this, John. So, yeah, I wanted to just learn a little bit about your experience so far with Blue Ribbon Landscaping. So, I was hoping we could maybe paint the picture a little bit of what it was like before with your properties and trying to manage them and keep them maintained. And then we can talk a little bit about what it's been like after. But if you would, paint the picture a little bit of the before of trying to keep these properties maintained.
Well, I may not be the best answer of that because when I first moved to Atlanta 11 years ago, Jeff was already taking care of the place that I moved into. So I inherited him as a supplier of landscaping services.
Hmm.
And he had been working with my wife's family for some time. And so that's how we also knew him. But I then got into commercial property and took a look at what we were doing there, and it was a hot mess. So I asked Jeff if he handled commercial stuff, and to my delight, the answer was yes. So Jeff came in, took a look, and said, "This hasn't been done right. You need more maintenance here. You're overspending there." And he gave me a plan, which I loved, and we put it into place. And as we've grown the commercial property side, we now have three different locations that he takes care of. And as we buy more, he's the automatic go-to person for us now because he's a delight to work with.
Hmm. Yeah. So okay. So it sounds like you did well on the residential, so it made sense to move to commercial. How many? You said it's three commercial and then two residential currently.
Well, he's handling the house that we currently live in. He's handling a rental house. He's handling the house that we're renovating to eventually move into, and he's handling my sister-in-law's home. So four on the
Mhm.
residential side, and three commercial properties with about 100,000 square feet and 82 tenants on the commercial side.
Wow. Yeah, it's a lot of maintenance
No, but
for the full
I'll
day.
tell you the best part is for the autopilot stuff, the stuff that has to happen every week, every 2 weeks, seasonally changed to more frequent or less frequent. That's wonderful. It's automatic when Blue Ribbon sees something that seems out of whack. They give us a call, they give us a text, an email, they suggest what to do, and we review it, discuss it, and we approve it, and it gets done. But it's wonderful to also know that when we have ad hoc things we don't expect, one time things, not only do they handle them gracefully and very cost effectively, but Jeff is encyclopedic in his knowledge of all things, not just landscaping, because my understanding is he's got a background in commercial property management. So he
Mhm.
knows things that has been huge for us. Oh, you should call a structural engineer about this. Let me give you the number of a couple people. You need to talk to someone about this. Oh, you need a retaining wall. We could do that, or you might want to go with these folks. It's a tremendous value add for us because that's not what I know. I grew up in New York City, so landscaping's not something that's in my blood. But to
Mhm.
have a partner like that who we can go to with questions and get suggestions and not feel like they're going to automatically try to take the business, but they might easily say, "No, you should call this person. They do this better than I could." That's a wonderful thing.
Mhm. I see. So it's kind of like the peace of mind knowing it's taken care of, but then also that they're putting your interests first and saying that, hey, whatever is best for you, we want to make sure that it's done right.
100% couldn't agree more. He's
Mhm.
one of those folks, and the thing that I wish that he did was I wish it was called Borseth Landscaping because I love when you have a small business and they're proud enough to put their name on it, and he should.
Yeah.
As
Hmm.
Blue Ribbon, of course, Blue Ribbon. We all love Blue Ribbon, but he's the special sauce, and everybody on his team has that same ethos of character and quality, and he really
Hmm.
should be proud enough to put his name on the company. Just my 2 cents
Yeah.
worth,
Yeah, he's a little bit famous in that space.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah, he told me the story. It goes back to he grew up in Iowa on a dairy farm, and it goes back to the county fair, and that the best things were always the blue ribbon. And so he's like, I want to be the best and get that blue ribbon that I saw at the county fair growing up.
Yeah, but he's been doing this so long that Borseth is synonymous with all his customers to Blue Ribbon, so he
Mhm.
doesn't need to lead with Blue Ribbon anymore.
Right.
Or just put his name ahead of it, Borseth's Blue Ribbon Landscaping.
Yeah. Right. I like that. Awesome. Well, is there anything else that sticks out to you? I guess that is a benefit of the service or things that make your life easier.
Well, I will say that, like most landscapers, most of the time when you try to call them, they're out pruning a hedge or pushing a mower and that kind of thing. So historically, Jeff was sometimes tough to reach, and you quickly learn that the best thing to do is text him because he's always checking his phone when he stops and puts down the equipment or stops dealing with something, and he'll get right back to you. But I'm delighted to know that Jeff is being thoughtful and deliberate about growing his business and building a team around him to deal with customer support and scheduling and billing and invoicing, and adding a sort of professional back office that it's a great step forward for him. I'm excited to see where it goes, but I'm also excited to see what it means for his business, not just what it means for mine.
Right. Yeah. The ease of use is key, right? Because it's notorious for landscapers to be too busy or not even get back to you, especially this time of year. They don't have it in them.
Well, it is notorious for landscapers to do that, but I have to say, Jeff has never been one of those.
Mm-hmm.
So, if anything, it was just clumsy as Jeff has evolved from one accounting package and billing system to another. It's always a few extra steps, but nothing too bad. But now that he's automating auto payments and credit card storage and kind of coming into the current century as far as that's concerned, it's making my life even easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the last thing I wanted to ask you, John, is what would you say to someone who's kind of on the fence about using our service? They're kind of thinking it over. What would you tell that person who's considering?
The landscaping business, the day-to-day yard care type landscaping business, it's full of people who will bid low, and they'll be completely unreliable, and they'll kind of half-ass the work. Jeff is the type of person who will never do anything half-ass. And if there's a boo-boo because something got overlooked, he will come out the next day and fix it. That happens in any business, but he owns it and fixes it. Um, but I've dealt with a lot of different folks, and you want to work with someone reliable, especially if it's commercial. That's the way the property presents, and you want someone who knows what they're doing. It's not just about being able to push a mower. And if it's residential, even more important. That's your curb appeal. That's where you spend time outside, and that's where when you pull in at night or go out in the morning or when kids are playing in the yard, you want it to be a great place to be. And Jeff's not even more expensive. That's the thing that blows my mind. Jeff could be charging a ton more, and I wouldn't leave him.
Mhm.
So yeah, if you care about the quality of the work and the quality of your property, you have to think about going with Jeff. If you're the type of person who's just pinching pennies, I don't think you're going to be a good fit with Jeff. But
Mhm.
if you want value for the price, especially, it's unbelievable.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. It's never being the cheapest, but it's being fair and getting a good value for your money.
Yep, for sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
awesome. Well, that's all I had, John. I really appreciate you taking the time.